friends, it's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? I hope you said well. I'm in a great mood because today we're doing a special Patreon sunglass vlog for Robin Prince. Robin, I hope that you are a fan of Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper because we are in Clear Lake, Iowa today to pay tribute to them. This weekend, they're actually throwing a winter dance party here in Clear Lake, and I wanted to come and be a part of it. They're gonna have Don McLean performing, Nelson, which is Ricky Nelson's sons, and they're gonna have Los Lobos performing. So I thought, how could we come and not be a part of this, or how could we be fans of these guys and not try and be a part of this weekend? So that's what we're gonna do today. Hope you guys enjoy it. I wanna start out by going out to the reason that we all remember this. We're gonna go out to the field where their plane crashed. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins right now. At the time, everyone just thought it was a regular old concert, but one flight changed all of that. In case you were wondering, it's a whopping 0 degrees outside. The weather is extremely appropriate because they were flying in snow as well. So as you're driving, they actually have a giant pair of Buddy Holly glasses off to the side of the road, and that's your landmark. You're gonna start walking from there. So as you can see, this weekend there are a few people working their way back there. We have to climb over this pile of snow, but there are the Buddy Holly glasses, and the people that own this land are very kind and put a memorial out there that they allow fans to trespass to go see. So we're gonna go see it now. We'll go up here. The snow has been drifting, and it's a lot higher than I thought. My first step, I went about 1.5 feet down. So the whole reason they took this flight was because the buses that they had for this tour, the heat wasn't working. So the thought was that Buddy Holly wanted to fly his band to the next city so they could stay warm and do their laundry and stuff. But they chartered a plane, and the pilot was a young man who had never flown this kind of plane before. So it was actually pilot error that caused this accident out here. And I've seen some people say online that the family that owned the farm has the plane, but I kind of doubt that. Usually I thought the FAA takes them and investigates them and all that stuff, so don't know what happened to it. We're pretty close, right over here. So here's the memorial. Somebody's cleared a path. And we just met a family out here and said, we didn't realize that today was the anniversary. We just stopped by to see it. Sadly, it crashed pretty much right here and through Big Bopper over the fence that was right here, and Buddy Holly and Richie Valens, all of them out of the plane. So now they have this wonderful silver memorial here with all their names and everything on it. Delphi, Donna, that's all Richie Valens. Chantilly lace. Big Bopper. You can see people are leaving glasses down here. And then that is to the pilot Roger Peterson. Very, very sad day in rock and roll history. When I was a kid, I was probably in 4th grade, and I saw the Buddy Holly story, and I just became obsessed with wanting to come here. So really cool to get to come pay respects on. I think this is the 63rd anniversary. I'm not sure, but I can see people are making their way out here all day. There's some more people walking from the road the same way we did in 0 degree weather. There's a theory developed later on because of where the Big Bopper was located that they thought maybe he was trying to go for help and that he had survived, but they did an autopsy many, many years later, and the autopsy revealed that most of his bones were broken. There was no way he could have went for help, and as far back in the field as it happened, I can't imagine them ever being able to go get help, even if he somehow could get up and move. It's extremely cold today, but I'm so glad I could come out and make the trek today. There you can see a sign that says Buddy Holly Place and Richie Valens Drive. Decided to come by the Surf Ballroom a little early and check it out before all the festivities. Take a look at the marquee for the events. We got the 3-day pass here. You can see tonight is Don McLean, and then tomorrow's the tribute to Ricky Nelson, and then Los Lobos doing La Bamba. I might just include those all in this video today. Right over here by the name of the ballroom, they have a nice headstone that memorializes those who perished that day. Richie, Buddy, Big Bopper, and the pilot, Roger Peterson, also remembered. And we notice on the walk as you come in, has Buddy Holly's name right there. And Waylon Jennings, who was in his band that night with J.P. Richardson, who was the Big Bopper. I love this old marquee here that they have. And the entrance, the palm trees. This has all their autographs in there. Autograph cutouts. See, there's Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, and the Big Bopper. And there's Buddy performing that night right there. On the far left is Waylon Jennings. They have these nice memorials also to the 3 fallen. Here's the old school coat check. We picked up our tickets for this evening already, and I want to show you something really cool here. This is the phone booth right here that Buddy called Maria Elena, his wife, very last time. And this is also where Richie Valens called Bob Keane, his manager, and told him that he was sick and that it was a miserable tour, and Bob said, just come on back, and Richie said, no, I'll finish out the tour. You can see they have a sign in there. Actually says, this payphone was used by Buddy Holly to call his wife Maria Elena in New York, and Richie Valens to call his manager in Los Angeles the evening of February 2nd. And then Buddy Holly's wife has signed it. She did not attend his funeral. She was pregnant with his child at the time and ended up having a miscarriage. That is not the original wallpaper, but it definitely fits the feel. And one of my best friends is Eric Singer. He's the drummer of Kiss, but he also used to be the drummer of Alice Cooper. And he told me that this is one of his all-time favorite venues to perform in. He said just the acoustics and the history and the feel and everything of it, it's pretty amazing. Take a look at that. They've extended the stage, so the original stage was a little further back, but the room to the left was the dressing room where they had the coin flip and where Buddy was doing his laundry in the sink. Tonight it's going to be a party. Take a look at how they decorate it. First of all, you have all those great booths, but then I love behind it all the surf and beach motif. And we're gonna go over here into the side room now and show you that. You have to go in here. You can't come here and not go in here. This is extremely well known for the coin flip room. They actually talk about it right there. Tommy Allsup. They even have a coin in there signed by Tommy Allsup beneath it. And a caricature of Brian Wilson right there. But that's the room. They would have taken the stage. If you perform here, you're allowed to sign the walls here. But this was it. Buddy was doing his laundry in those sinks and was hanging his clothes up on those little rungs up there. This is where he and Waylon Jennings had the conversation where Waylon said, hey, Big Bopper asked if he could have my seat. I told him it's okay with me if it's okay with you, and Buddy said, well, go ahead, I hope your old bus freezes up. And Waylon said, I hope your plane crashes. Yeah, and there's Waylon has signed this wall right there. To me, honest to God, coming and standing in this room is more important, I think, than going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think this room has some of the most interesting musical history and folklore that there is in music, and to know what happened that night and how music changed after it's, or what could have been, what Buddy Holly would have done, or Richie or Big Bopper would have done had they lived. Pretty cool to be in this room. And ironically, Don McLean has written the lyrics to American Pie and signed it right here, and we're gonna see him perform a little bit later. And then Tommy Alsop did a coin flip with Richie Valens for his seat on the plane, even though Dion has tried to insert himself in the story over time and made a lot of people that were involved in the story very angry. He claims that he did the coin toss with Richie, but everybody that was around said it was Tommy Alsop. And the reason I happen to believe that story is because I know that it was reported that Buddy Holly chartered the plane for his band, not for the star performers of the tour. He did it specifically for his band members. There's the Mason City Gazette where they flew out of. That headset up there in the shadow box is actually from the airplane that crashed that night. So this display actually has Elwin Musser's camera. He was the only photographer to go out and take photos of the crash site. That was the camera he did it with. Says he never expected to win a Pulitzer Prize for his work. All right, it is showtime. All right, it is a madhouse in here. Looks like they put some seating down. Won't be much dancing. Look, they have a cardboard cutout of Don McLean over here at the merchandise.
Yours will surely come my way. Hey, love like yours will surely come my way. With the two guitars, bass, drums, and even some background voices, that's the template really for the Rolling Stones. So Buddy Holly invented that, and he was the first real singer-songwriter of the new era. People forget that. Elvis never wrote a song. Sometimes we'll cry, and we'll know why, just you and I know true love ways. Love to last more than one day, love and I'll fade away. I said love and I fade away. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride, but something touched me deep inside the day the music died. Sing it with me. So bye, Miss American Pie. Rode my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys are drinking whiskey and rye, singing this will be the day that I die. Dancing in the gym, you both kicked off your shoes up. I think that was a red, Manchester on the sideline. We started singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Rode my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was gone. Look at all the boys drinking whiskey and rum, singing this one day that I die. All right, play that guitar. Let's turn those lights up on the audience so we can really see it. You leave them up.
To 1964, the golden age of rock and roll. That's what we're all about. That's what Buddy was about. That's what we're going to do tonight. Let's open it up right now with a big, hot doo-wop number. It's not really hot, is it? Are you done? Why love you like I do? Why do?
America watched on TV as Ricky Nelson grew from teen idol to rock legend. He helped introduce the world to rock and roll. For 30 years, he immortalized himself as one of music's biggest icons. Grammy Award-winning rock and roll Hall of Famer Rick Nelson is the only artist to have a #1 TV show, a #1 movie, and a #1 hit song in the same week. He had over 50 Billboard hits. Today, with the help of his sons Matthew and Gunnar Nelson, you will take a musical journey through time. We will revisit Ricky Nelson's musical genius and 50 years of memories.
My brother and I have some Iowa ties. My wife is from Northeast Iowa, from a little town called Ballroom. We've got like one name and stuff. And Grandma Harriet was from Des Moines. And I do know the joys that is Casey's breakfast pizza in the morning. So
good twin, evil twin. Got it straight? It's fine with Gunnar, I promise. Your master of ceremonies, Mr. Matthew Nelson on the acoustic guitar tonight. Everybody put it together.
Ozzie Nelson, not Osborne, the original TV dad. Our family's in the Guinness Book, the only family in history to have 3 generations in a row of #1 hit makers. And yes, I have a 7-year-old son named Ozzie at home, and we're working on generation 4, but no pressure at all, Tim, right? You know, I gotta say this on a personal note. This is one of the shows that my brother and I love more than anything for obvious reasons. This is as close to a rock and roll church as there is on the planet right here. And I talked to my dad, and actually another fellow we play with from time to time, the great James Burton. And James told us he was with our father the moment they found out about losing Buddy and Richie and the big opera. And he said it was the only time that he could remember that they both just wept. You know, it's something that still hits us. And of course, time marches on. A few decades later, we find something in common. We lost our dad the same way, years later. But the thing about it that's amazing is here we are, all these years later, living in a world of Jumanji. And the fact is that these songs and these people left behind something that's bigger than we all are. And that's what we're here to do right now, is to celebrate that. And, you know, there were 2 really big, I guess, well, of course, Elvis, the king of rock and roll. Never be another Elvis Presley, God bless him. And our pop was the crown prince of rock and roll. You know, Elvis was the extrovert, and Ricky was the introverted little brother. And it worked out, we became really good friends. But I think what our dad kind of struck beyond the fact that he was slightly good looking was the fact that he actually had a bit of a melancholy streak. So in the beginning of his career, he picked some pretty wonderful songs that kids can identify with, you know, when you're going through kind of the first phase of your life. And one in particular he picked, we found out after we talked to him, was Sir Paul McCartney's favorite Ricky Nelson song. He cut it on out called Run Devil Run. And Gunner's going to do his best to do this for you tonight. Here comes Lonesome. In her first ever movie. And by the way, we just saw it, Angie is still hot stuff. She really is. You got to sing a song in the middle of the picture for no reason at all with Dean Martin, my right front pony me. And we're not going to do that one, but we are going to do something that was written for him as a result of making that movie. Life Magazine sent a photographer out to the set in old Tucson, and they didn't know how to describe the phenomenon that was Ricky Nelson in 1958. He had the #1 TV show, #1 picture, #1 song all at the same time. It's never happened since. So they called him Teenage Idol. And that became something else as time went on. But he sang a song that became a big hit record. So tonight I'm going to send this one out to Justin Bieber. Here it comes. It's okay, we had our 7 merch too. So we got some people call me teenage idol. Some people say they envy me. I guess they got no way to know how long and that's something my brother and I grew up with, quite literally. Our pop moved our cribs aside in the nursery and rehearsed at Stone Canyon Band right in front of us, so we didn't stand a chance, basically. That's what we're going to do. And we very rarely get a chance to play with a great pedal steel player, and never with Albert Lee. And if you don't mind, we'd like to go to our dad's Stone Canyon Band era. This is a song that, you know, I'm going to do She Belongs to Me tonight, so I think you're in standard to me.
She wants me, yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay. After a lifetime of being blonde, we help each other out when it's necessary. Anybody grew up with the Ozzy and Harriet show, and 435 years on episodes, not years, on television. It felt to him like years. And our dad actually was challenged by a friend of his. We just thought that it was a homeless guy who lived at our house. It was Bob Dylan, actually. We said, hey Rick, why don't you try writing your own music? And that's why he started the Stone Canyon Band pretty much from that day in the den. And Bob said, you know, the kids want to hear what you have to say. So to thank him, he actually was a big Bob Dylan fan. And he cut this song. It was a Bob Dylan cover. And had a hit with it in the late 60s. It was one of the most unlikely comebacks in rock and roll that began that time. So we're going to get some help with some great musicians on this. It's called She Belongs to Me. She's got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look back. She's got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look back. She made the daytime in the nighttime. Turn the daytime back. But you wind up peeking through a keyhole upon your knees. Na 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 na. She never stumbles. She's got no place to belong. She never stumbles. She's got no place to belong. She's nobody's child, the law can't touch her down. And he got there just in time to see some of his old friends take the stage. And he said it was like kind of like a costume party, you know? Chuck Berry was up walking across the stage, whatever, and he just thought, you know, he showed up looking like, you know, a rhinestone hippie, like a photo negative of my brother here. And he got booed off the stage that night. 20,000 people booed him off the stage for playing new music. But he wrote a song about that experience. That's the thing about our pop. The thing that, if you look at him, he grew up on radio, then television, all that. And basically, what really plagued him all his life was being his own man. You know, he was always trying to be who he thought everybody wanted him to be. But he had been recently emancipated musically with his Stone Canyon Band. And he said that this song came to him a week after he got booed off that stage. And he said that God gave it to him in almost like it was finished. He heard the whole thing, including the ending, and he cut the song, and it became one of his very biggest hits ever. Truly the most unlikely hit song for a former teen idol that's ever happened, I think. And the moral of the story really hasn't changed, especially nowadays, folks. I mean, look, all I'm going to say is they spent 2 years separating everybody. Don't let them do it, okay? Stand up for what you believe. Because you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself, right? I'm sorry.
please yourself.
He always shook hands with everybody and did autographs, whatever. And Gunnar and I do that as well. We're going to meet everybody who wants to meet us right over there. Take a picture again. We did, of course, bring merchandise because, frankly, we all have kids and they're expensive. You know how it is.
I want to apologize in advance, folks, if you actually don't get one. We have a limited supply. We took Delta here, which apparently stands for don't expect your luggage to arrive. Half of our CDs are in Guam or something right now.
It's one thing we never got a chance to do. We lost when we were 18 years old. We got to know him as people and as sons, of course, but as musicians as well. And if there was one thing that could happen differently in my life is that, got a chance to play with our pop. So we're going to do the next best thing. If you don't mind, let's lower the lights on stage and just concentrate on the screens here. We're going to try to do something. And
last night of the winter dance party of 2022. The highlight tonight for me is Los Lobos because they did the soundtrack for La Bamba, the movie. They sang all of Lou Diamond Phillips' parts. And I'm also excited because Jason D. Williams is a pretty amazing piano player, and some people say he is Jerry Lee Lewis's son. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it an end to this weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed the winter dance party, remembering Richie Valens, Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly. Have a great night. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.